G'day guys, this is a Vantastic review. Well, it's a little bit different because we're reviewing a van. It's the Farizon SV, or Farizon Supervan if you actually call it by its full name. The van itself, one of the coolest vans I have ever seen. LED daytime running lights wrap the whole way around there. You also have the LED badging for the Farizon logo lit up as well, and LED headlights as well. Now, from the side, the van actually looks kind of cool. It's a little bit different, it's a bit funky. Overall, I think it's just going to be a really popular van if you want to be smart about marketing and branding, because everywhere we've driven, people have turned their heads to look at this twice. And not in a bad way. They've kept looking, they've asked me to wind the window down to ask me what it is. I've never had so much attention in a van, particularly a white van, which is a little bit weird. But also just on the road from just people. I had a motorcyclist that did a couple of double takes to have a look back at the van while riding. And when we came to a set of lights, he actually just pulled up next to me going, "Hey, what is that? It looks so cool." And he was talking about using it for loading up his motorbikes into the back. So just overall, I've never had so much attention during a car review in recent times. And this could be the first van to get so much attention as well. Now, from the front, parking sensors down the bottom here and a camera system, because you have a full 360-degree camera system with this van, means that it's going to be a really, really handy van to be parking around. You're going to have plenty of visibility, and you have a reverse camera as well as some blind spot and side camera visibility as well from that 360-degree camera system. Moving through to the charge port. On the side here, Type 2 CCS charger. The car itself is capable of charging speeds up to 140 kilowatt speeds. Now, that means that this can charge from 10% to 80% in 36 minutes, according to Farizon. But let's find out how much it actually charged. So we've come to charge the Farizon SV, or Supervan. Farizon claims a charge speed of 36 minutes from 10% to 80%. Now, we got here with 12% and we got to 80% in 38 minutes. Now, that's fantastic because this charger hasn't been outputting the full capability charging that it could, because that's at 140 kilowatt speeds for that Farizon charging quote. This charger has struggled to output anything more than 110, but most of the time has sat at around 70-ish. So it's done pretty well. I'm going to stop the charging because I don't want to charge it past the 87% that it currently is at. But for 88%, sorry that it's just hit, we've been here for 45 minutes. So it's done well. Past 80%, it did slow down to 35.7 kilowatts, which is why I highly recommend, if you are operating any electric vehicle, particularly one as a commercial van operator or a commercial truck operator, don't use your van or your truck and charge it past 80%. You don't need to. Charge it up to 80%. Ideally, charge it just to top it up, and top it up a couple of times a day for 5-10 minutes. That's more than enough for what you need. So let's stop this and let's show you around the van. So we're with the Farizon SV and we're at a typical charging station where you might be charging if you're operating this van. You'll notice that we've driven nose in. That's because the charging outlet is right at the front of the car, which is fantastic because it means that you can go straight to the front, and then for the back, you can open up your doors and continue loading or unloading while you're topping up your battery at whatever site you've gone to make your deliveries. So it makes it super handy. Plus also, the other cool thing with that charging infrastructure, it's right at the front. So you can get as close as you want to the charger and be really, really capable of being able to charge. Now, we finished our charging, so it took 45 minutes to get to 88% from 12%. Roughly the charging capacity of the car for a 140 kilowatt charger would be 10% to 80% in 36 minutes. This charger has kind of hovered around 108 to 110 for most of the charge. It had quite a few periods where it was about 70, 75, and once it got over 80%, it slowed right down to about 36 kilowatt hours worth of speeds. So if you're a van operator, don't charge past 80, just put in 10, 20% as you go about your day, maybe once or twice a day, instead of doing one big charge to 100% where you're going to be sitting here for about an hour, hour and a half, wasting your time and occupying a charging bay that doesn't need to be occupied for that long. So there you go. In terms of the rims, 16-inch tires and steel rims with these covers over the top. They look quite cool, but also the Giddy tires that are on here are actually not that bad. They're pretty comfortable. They don't really add too much noise. If you did improve those tires and chose a quieter, better, efficient, rolling resistant tire, potentially could even be even quieter inside the van. So, but as a commercial van, the tires are no different to a HiAce, a Transit, or any other van that I have used in the past. Big mirrors means big opportunity to see whatever is down the side. You get the Verizon badging just there, and of course a camera just here. Now, if you're wondering who Verizon are and why should you consider one of their vans? Well, Verizon is a sub-company of Geely Group. Now, Geely Group has Geely Commercial Vehicles, which is what this car comes under. They have Geely Auto, which is the Geely EX5, which we have reviewed previously and is new to the Australian market, but quite established overseas, as well as Volvo, Lotus, and Zeekr as well. A small percentage of Mercedes and a large percentage of smart cars. So they're quite an established global brand. So this van is coming with some really good pedigree, both in safety, but in overall usability. Let's check out what you get inside. Now, with the Verizon Supervan, you get some really big surfaces. They're all plastic because it's a commercial van. Door handle and grab handle just here. You have a little pocket here, which I've used to keep my wallet. Down here, massive bottle holder that is also suitable for those bigger water jugs as well. And of course, some really big door handles that are really easy to operate if you're wearing work gloves. Aside from that, really, really big window and some really big visibility, which is really handy. Now, you might be wondering about safety. Or perhaps you won't, because you're used to vans not really being all that safe and a lot of vans on the market not actually being tested for full safety capacity. You'd be surprised to know that the Verizon SV is one of the safest vans on the road currently. In fact, with the Euro NCAP rating system for commercial vehicles, this scored a platinum rating and actually achieved the highest possible scores when it comes to van safety. That's pretty impressive, and if you have a family that loves you, they probably want to see you at home at the end of the day, and this van is one of those vans that can get you there. Moving through to the inside, you have all this kind of trimming here, which kind of mixes it up and breaks up the interior. A little bit of gloss, but not too much. The steering wheel itself is really good because it is tilt adjustable. The downside, it's not reach adjustable, but in terms of seat comfort, the steering itself, it's tilt adjustable. It would have been nice to have reach adjustment, but I will say to them, because of the seat position and where you can get this seat to kind of be, generally you find yourself pretty comfortable in this driver's position. The stalk on the right-hand side for drive and reverse and parked keeps everything nice and out of the way. Indicators on the left and wipers built onto that same stalk. Bonnet release down here, and of course a couple of additional pockets just here. So things like your voltage for the back, and the drive modes as well. So if you want a sportier drive mode, you can play around with that and make that as well. You will get these beeps to let you know that you're changing the drive mode between Eco, Sport, and of course Comfort. Moving from there, your driver assistance monitor is just here, and come around to the middle and I'll show you what you get there. Now, in the middle of the car, you get a bit of space here. You get these armrests that pop down, so if you want to sit like a captain of a sailing vessel, you can, or just for additional comfort. The additional seat there for your passenger. The material is a premium man-made material, but it's actually really, really comfortable, which I like. The digital display here has Apple CarPlay wired and wireless and is very, very crisp and clear in its response. You press that to get back into the home menu. Once you're in the home menu and you go to your air conditioning controls, you'll discover a nice little layout just here. So you can kind of just adjust everything you need really, really easily without having to do too much. And I really, really like that. As I mentioned, the car itself has reverse camera as well. So once that camera's on, it gives you quite a big display here, bird's eye view over here, and that's really good, plus moving guidelines as well. So you're gonna have plenty of visibility and clarity. The one bit of feedback that I've passed on to Verizon already is that the camera sometimes lags a little bit, depending on the environment and the conditions. Not by much, but just enough to notice. And they have told me that they're working on an upgrade for that system, which will get pushed through as an over-the-air update in the software, which is really, really good. The one good thing I'll say about Geely Group in general, my experience has been when you pass on feedback to them from a reviewer perspective, they get onto that feedback really quickly if it's something of merit. With the Geely EX5, there was a couple little bits of feedback that needed to be passed on. They were onto it, and within about a month and a half to 2 months, there was the first over-the-air update released, and there's another one coming soon that will give a couple of different features as well. So these brands, the differentiator between a good Chinese brand and a less good Chinese brand is how much they want to listen and how responsive they are. And generally, I find that they're working really well. The other cool thing as well is you can drop this down here to quickly turn on and deactivate a couple of things. So if, for example, you don't want your driving video restrictions, you can turn that off. If you want things like your lane keep assist or your lane departure alert or your driver awareness warnings, you can kind of just turn all of these off. And that makes it super easy and super quick to just turn things on and off and customize. Cup holders, just here. You do have one larger kind of square cup holder. That's perfect for your choc chills. That's going to go straight through there, coffee chills, whatever you want to have. Left side is suitable more for a Macca's cup. And over here, there's a little storage tray where you can chuck your phone. As an example though, if you had something that was a little bit thicker, it's not quite going to close. So it is designed to be more for a phone rather than like a spare space for a wallet or anything like that. That being said, once you pop that in there, it will close. Now down here, USB-C and USB-A charging outlets, and they're both fast charge, which I really like. A storage compartment just here, which is going to be perfect for all that rubbish that you're going to be chucking in there, your wrappers, whatever, after you've had your lunch. And a glove box, which is reasonably sized in terms of what you get through there. After all, guys, it's a van. There's not much to talk about. It is a van. That's literally what it is. Driving impressions. Let me share with you what I think with this so far. We are pushed for time today, so we won't be doing a normal drive impression. But I am planning to do a longer term test with this van to test out the weight and to test out the range. The van itself will give you about 300 to 350 kilometers of driving range, depending on how you load it. I've only tested it empty, not fully loaded. So I don't want to tell you, go out and buy this because you're going to get 350 Ks of range. The van WLTP rating is 375. I think you're probably going to be at 300 to 330, somewhere around there, once loaded with some weight. The cool thing that this does tell you is it has a weight load or payload calculator for you. So as you chuck stuff in the back, it uses the technology and the smarts that are in the car to actually work out how much weight is going into the car to give you a bit of an estimate to cross-reference against your calculations, just to make sure that you're staying on track for your payload and you're not exceeding any legal limits. Now, that system there is only there to be as a guide to help you, rather than to replace you doing the work to calculate your payload. So you still will require your normal calculations to make sure you're staying legal. Air conditioning controls being here have been super handy and super easy for ventilation, and an electronic park brake makes it nice and easy again. The drive, super responsive, very quick. It is a bit longer than a standard van, so you will have to get used to some of the turns, a little bit different. The other thing that you'll need to get used to are the driver attention warnings that you're getting at the moment. Verizon is working on that. They have let us know that they are working on it, so stay tuned while they work through those. In the interim, they will make a little bit more beeping than you might want, but they have been really, really on board with making those changes and adjustments, so that's a really good one. They're not over the top. You can turn them off just here, but it'd be nice if there was a shortcut or a quick fire way to turn them off. So that's it. Make sure you take one for a drive. Have a look at one. I reckon if you're in the market to have one of these as a business owner, I reckon you would not want to miss an opportunity to drive one of these. So let me know what you think in the comment section. And until next time, stay ready for our next review.